Welcome to Gardening Utah. I'm your host, Jana Francis, and on today's show, we are digging into the incredible story of one of my very favorite local nurseries in Utah, Lambert Growers. You have heard me talk about them many times on the show. And today we have owner Kim Clark, and she is part of the third generation that is now running the nursery. We'll talk about Lambert's history. We'll learn about why supporting local nurseries matters so much and how you can extend your growing season with cool season vegetables, medicinals, and so much more. This is packed with inspiration and very practical tips that you can take right into your own garden. And if anything, it's kind of like listening in on two garden nerd friends FaceTiming about plants. This is a super fun episode, and it's very fitting because this is episode 90 of Gardening Utah. I can't even believe I'm saying that out loud. Episode 90. And I'll save any sappiness and reminiscing for episode 100, but I do want to say, when you listen to a lot of the really large podcasts, you'll hear at usually the ending, the cast and crew of people that do the sound editing and the producing, and the list goes on and on. But my name is at the end of all of those with this show. Every single element of this show is done by me, myself, and I. And so because of that, I really want to ask a favor. I would love it if you could help share these shows. Share these with a friend, a garden friend, your mom, your sister. Put it in garden groups if someone's talking about a relevant topic and you know you've heard it on this show. But yeah, subscribe on Apple, Spotify. Those are things that you can do to help this show. Find us on social media at Gardening Utah. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, and interact with me there. Help me keep this show growing, and I will help you continue to grow in the garden. One last point of note before we get into the interview with Kim Clark from Lambert Growers is they are now open for the fall. Yes, that's right. When a lot of other places are closing up for the season, Lambert is now reopened to offer cool season vegetables and perennials. And pretty soon they'll be offering seed garlic as well, which is where I got mine last year and I loved it. And just wanted to mention that they are now open for the next 4-ish weeks. We'll get into that a little bit more. But if you're listening to this episode and you're looking for broccolis and kales and lettuces and cool season vegetables, head on over to Lambert Growers. And let's jump in with owner Kim Clark now. Oh, Kim, I'm so happy to have you on Gardening Utah. We've talked about this for so long and we made it happen.
We finally did it.
It's so fun to have you here. Listeners know how much I talk about Lambert's because it's close to me. And to me, it just feels like the best time of the year. You know what I mean? You just walk and smell the air, see all the beautiful plants, and it just makes me happy. So anyway, thanks for being here.
Oh, I'm so glad to be here. It's always fun to hear people talk about coming in and that experience because we're in it for so long before customers ever show up. And it's nice that people, and it's like a holiday, open day.
Absolutely. So let's rewind a little bit. I have been going to Lambert's for so long. Give me the story.
Yeah. So I've asked this question, like, what year did you? I've never gotten a real straight answer because my grandparents started growing like when they were first having children. And so it's kind of hazy because my grandpa, I think from what I've gathered, it was his dream. He was an engineer. And so he was always the one that was wanting to do new things. So I'm not sure if like he started growing and then just pulled my grandma and all their children along after, or, if it was actually like a group effort. So, okay. So we're on Redwood Road in 3900 South. And they had a little tiny house just west of here on 2200 West. So between here and where that house is, I think it still stands. It used to all be fields, and they meaning my mom, she would mention having to skirt around like the cow field, the cow pasture to get past them to this area.
Wow.
So yeah. So they claim it started like the late 50s into the 60s. It's kind of their time frame. So we just say like 1960-ish, I think. So yeah, so they started small there and kept having kids, found, this property just east and snatched it up. So their original house is still on this property and that's where they raised their kids. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah. My husband was actually just digging through my grandpa's old container and laid out all of these tools. And, it looks like we should start a museum. So he found like this lineup of tools, and my grandpa really built it from the ground up. Like everything was handmade. So
That
yeah,
is
so that's kind
so
of the
cool.
start. Yeah, and I've asked for pictures. Like I don't know which aunt or uncle of mine has the stash, but I need to find more pictures because it's just incredible. So
I would definitely visit a section of Lambert's that had like a museum to all the old tools.
yeah, and I wish they had more stuff. Like they used to build wood flats. So like when you come in, and if you were to pick up a flat of flowers, it would be in like a plastic carry tray. But they built all wood ones and they would transfer. I mean, we still take your plants out of the plastic and put it into a box, but everything was in wood. And yeah, anyway, so yeah, they raised all their kids here. They had 9 kids, and some of them, went to school and came back. Some of them, moved on from here and did life. But my mom and her sister were the ones that throughout working like with all the siblings, they were kind of the two that wanted to carry it further on. So her sister Joan and herself, they ran this place like with my grandparents, for a long time until they officially bought them out. And then up until even just 2021 is when my aunt retired. And Charlie and I, my husband, we came in and bought it for my mom. So that's the kind of the succession story.
That
So
is
here we
so
are.
cool. And I am so glad that you did buy it because I feel like local nurseries such as yourself are, you know, we're really, really lucky, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we definitely still have a lot of people come in and they're, like, oh, what's going to happen? Oh, well, you get another, at least however many years because we bought it. So a lot of people are definitely happy to hear that, but not everyone knows. So they're kind of just waiting for us to fall to the way too, because kind of the plight of nurseries, it's unfortunate. Or, one up north is closing because of arson. Like it's just really tragic. So yeah, it's hard out there. It's
Oh,
crazy. So I feel like we're really lucky to come in as like a third generation because it's pretty, the chances are low. But
yes.
my mom was passionate about it and we were there and wanted to. So it worked out. We made it work.
Yes. And you know what? That's one of the reasons that I started this show was because I wanted to support the independent nursery that is so important to our, do we really want everything in our yards dictated by big box stores? No.
No, they are shipped from all over the country, right? Like they're not necessarily good for this area.
That's
They're
right.
probably pretty and they're probably blooming because that's a lot of big nurseries have that down where they just ship what's blooming, but it's not always good for here.
That's right.
So we're lucky to have like not only local nurseries, but so many resources to help us figure out what is good here.
That's right.
And so yeah, we can plug them later too. But yeah, we're lucky to have some really cool local resources to help guide our buying choices.
Yes. Well, so when do you start for the year? I mean, I know when you open and everything, but give everybody like
Yeah.
the kind of the inside look at like when you really start planning and then, obviously when you open to the public
Mhm.
and close for the summer a little bit. So give us the ins and outs of that.
Yeah. So while you're all tucked in cozy with a cup of tea in January and it's still snowing, we are starting.
Yeah.
So historically, we start beginning of February with seeding. But since Charlie and I came back in 2022, we started pushing our stuff a little bit earlier, trying to bring in some stuff, take advantage of the empty space, um, trying to fill things up faster. Like if we're going to heat up a greenhouse in February, we might as well fill it quickly. So we're heating things as long as we're paying for that space and gas. So that being said, I started trying to bring some stuff in closer, like in January. So I personally oversee one of the buildings. So I bring in a lot of cuttings for houseplants and other like ground covered perennials and stuff like that. So historically February, but now into January. And that's just the beginning. So we're heating, we're seeding, and then we open in April. So it's like fast and furious, like at least 9 weeks of just seeding and growing, and everything is exploding exponentially as we're like transplanting. So then, yeah, we see you April 1st, and that's when we try to sell all of the cool weather plants. We try to talk everyone out of the peppers and the eggplant. There's so many people, a lot of education. So by May, it's crazy town. We're trying to sell everything. Um, And then we try to shutter for the summer, end of June. So 3 months to open. Um, Another addition is during the summer break, Charlie and I decided to try to do cool weather vegetables again. So now we can go for 3 seasons. And so we're open in the spring. We close for a hot sec in the summer. It's really hot. And but maybe other people don't, that we don't really have outdoor growing space for like retail space. So it's so hot in that greenhouse in summer. So we are growing cool weather things up against our cooling pads on that north end where, it's really cool and damp. And then we'll have those ready for sale in August. So we're actually doing that this year. Again, it's like our third season doing cool season vegetables. So we're trying to let people know that you can grow. I mean, you can grow year round, really, but this is like another season. So trying to let people know, hey, you can still do lettuce and spinach and beets and chard and all this other stuff again. You could do it again. And that's just been so fun. Like we brought in seed garlic from a grower in Idaho, and that's just been like the most popular thing ever. And so getting that out is really fun. So
that's where I got my garlic 2 years ago.
nice.
I know. Yeah. I came in and got a ton of different varieties that were just so fun, and I've had a blast with them.
Good. Yeah, we're doing it again. It's just, I think it's a highlight, really. Yeah, and then we kind of sell the leftover perennials and houseplants from the rest of the year. So yeah, we kind of have two selling seasons, and it's kind of just morphing as we go, because now that we have like taken on this business and this land comes with it increased costs, like paying the rent or the mortgage, really, and like what can we do? So yeah, we'll just keep trying to figure out how to expand from there.
And you're right, it's the education about helping people realize that just because certain things don't grow this time of year, but there's still so many cool season vegetables that you can get going and start that time of year. Give us a list of the things you'll be growing.
So we're trying to grow most things that will be able to mature before winter sets, because I think it's like some hardcore people that, want to like overwinter stuff and cover and into the winter. So most of these things will mature before, which is great. So we're going to do a couple like, broccolini, sprouting broccoli, which I think technically are different, but don't ask me how. And then some bunching onions, so you can harvest those real quick.
Totally.
Yeah, lots of kale, chard, all the leafy greens, so we're doing a bunch of different lettuce. We've done beets for years, so yeah, we figured we'd give that a shot. So it's kind of the funny, I don't know, trial test. So we'll have to get people's feedback. Yeah, that's kind of all that comes to mind. I feel like I look at them all day on the table and I don't actually take in what they are. So they're out there. We're growing. I don't know.
I know. I remember when I was there, about a week before you closed for this summer, I had a few varieties of basil already, but if I see a variety of basil, I need it. It doesn't even matter what it is. I have to have every single kind. And so I remember before I left home, I memorized the 3. I didn't have my phone with me, so I didn't write them down. I'm like, okay, I know I've got Persian and licorice, and I don't know, maybe it was cinnamon basil. And then I get to Lambert's, and I was like, okay, wait, what do I have again? And I'm reading all of yours, and I thought, I just literally was like, forget it. Get one of everything just because.
Why not?
It's like, I just looked at it, and I can't remember what it was. Oh, my gosh. Anyway.
It's funny. You did remind me, though, we are doing basil again because you can get a second crop of, so basil, it'll be easy because they're going to be mature anyway.
Yeah.
So we're doing this like really big columnar basil. It's called like Emerald Towers or something.
Emerald Tower.
And it literally gets like 3 feet tall and it doesn't flower. Anyway, we had an old employee / customer send us some photos a year ago, and she had like a bushel, just like arm, like she planted like 5 plants and it was like a full armful. So we'll have that because like it's like all your tomatoes are coming on now, and like your basil from the spring is probably kind of putzing out. So we'll have fresh basil, and then also we'll have bean seed, because I think according to the extension office, I think you should be able to replant those as well. So there really is so much to learn. People are like pretty, like black and white, like, oh, it's too late for this. It's like, oh, like, let's give it a try. So
you're right. There is so much little pieces of education that, as much as even on this show, we've talked about certain things like blossom end rot and the reason for that and all the different things. It's like, I wish more people knew so many of these different things. With basil,
Hmm.
you reminded me, I bought from you. Now the name is escaping me, of course, but it's the little itty bitty leaves, like teeny
Yeah.
tiny. Do you
Boxwood.
remember? Maybe it's boxwood basil? Okay, yeah. Anyway, this year, some of it reseeded in the same pot from last
Oh,
year, and
lovely.
it is the best thing ever. I'm obsessed with this basil because it's so fun that just they're little itty bitties, and then it's just so fun to sprinkle on like spaghetti or whatever. It's a
And
blast.
not chop them. You just like sprinkle them, like
No,
you just
because
pickle.
they're teeny tiny. Anyway,
Okay,
they're
good.
the
That's what I
funnest.
thought.
But yeah, I love trying all the new fun things. Oh, you know what I got? What else I got from you guys this year that I've had so much fun with is all the mints. You doubled and
Oh.
quadrupled down.
I found this really fun supplier that was like, hey, we do mints. And I was like, you do mints? Yeah, we went wild. And hopefully people read the literature to like put it into a container. So I was like, are we doing people a favor here?
I mean, if you're smart, then yeah,
I
they put
am
them in
so
containers. In one container, I think I got the pineapple, banana, and then like the yerba buena, which smells insane.
yes. Yes. That was probably what hooked me first because we've had so many customers ask for that. And we'd
Yeah.
never grown it because we didn't know. Now we know, but it's beautiful. It kind of smells like a sweet basil mint almost. I'm not sure.
It smells so good. And I love having them. So now I have two big containers with nothing but mints, all just different varieties from you guys. Because, of course, like I said, I see a new variety. I'm like, well, I have to have that one too. Well, now I need to try that one and that one.
That's so exciting. Cool. I'm glad you took advantage of that. That was my hope, was just like, let's just blow it up with herbs. Like, let's just go crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know what I've seen a rise in requests on the Utah Gardeners Facebook page is medicinals. So every single time I see people say things like that, I'm like, Lambert's has this huge table of all
Yes.
kinds of stuff you can't find anywhere else.
That makes me so happy. That was my mom's like brainchild for years. And she'd be like, oh, I really want to look into this. And, she's had some friends be like, oh, do you do medicinals? And for years, she was like, oh, we should try this. And it's, I don't know, for some reason, it's hard for us just to implement something on day one that we think of it. It's like, it always kind of takes us a year to figure out like, okay, are we ready to do a new program? Because it really is a whole new program. And she just started doing it and it's been the coolest. So I think this was our third year doing medicinals and like nothing but positive feedback. It's been so fun um, to just be able to offer stuff like that. And we already grew with so much stuff that was medicinal or, has those properties or however you want to word it. But it's been so fun. And anyway, so I definitely give her praise for that because that was her baby.
That's so neat. So there's a lot of unique sections in Lambert's. What are some of the things that I've missed that you guys have really kind of doubled down on recently?
Yeah. So the succulents I would definitely group in with our houseplant program.
Yeah.
So when Charlie and I came back in 22, so we took a couple of seasons off and just happened to be right as COVID was hitting. So we didn't time that on purpose, but I sure was glad to not be here for that. So we came back in 22 and I'd always been interested. I'd seen, like when I'd be ordering other things, I'd be looking up pictures and I'm like, oh, that's succulent or houseplant. So finally took a dive into that world and that's been really fun. So it's still relatively new. It's still like our third or fourth year doing that. My goal is actually to take that more into like a wholesale program. So we offer a little bit of each in the retail space, but then not even necessarily florists, but like plant shops and florists and people that do arrangements for things. They're always looking for stuff like that. So yeah, that's my goal, is to make that like a year-round thing. Because I know a lot of people have to ship stuff in as well. You can find some of that locally. But I'd love to be another place where people can get that year round. So you can actually find those right now. We're actually doing the Mill Creek Farmers Market on Wednesdays. So it's a pretty new market at the Mill Creek Commons, which I'd never been to. I grew up in Mill Creek, but I'd never been to the Commons. And it's the cutest spot. I guess their city building is like the top layers of that building. And then the bottom layer is like a food court and like local artisans. And then the market sets up outside, kind of between the skating rink and the building. And it's just a cute little market. And so we sell our houseplants there. So people that want to come pick up a gift or whatever. So
How fun. I
yeah.
don't think I've seen any vendors at farmers markets selling houseplants. I can't think of one. So that's so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think this next week I'll probably bring a small smattering of some of the cool weather veggies as well. Just to, people want to get a jump start on anything. So um
Totally.
yeah. So that's kind of a fun addition. It's really mellow, but it's almost like a day off because we just go and hang out at the market and don't have to think about anything.
That's awesome. And what day of the week is the Mill Creek Commons market? I think
The farmers market is Wednesday night from like 5 to 9. 5
okay,
to 9.
cool. I
Yeah.
got to go check that one out.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, there's good food and just like I said, like local artisans and crafters and things like that. So yeah, I guess back to your original question though. Yeah, the houseplants is like kind of a new thing. And then we started trying to expand perennials as well, which has also been really fun. So historically, my grandpa really started out doing a ton of vegetable and bedding flowers. So like petunias from floor to ceiling, geraniums and marigolds. And well, that's all great. And they all have a lovely spot in the garden. It's just not really 1960 anymore. And, we've
Yeah.
got a lot of different challenges and aesthetics that people are going for. So um, just trying to bring in a lot more water-wise perennials and took not took. I tried my hand at seeding some native stuff this year, and so I'll be able. We'll offer that this fall. Um, so like some grasses and some gaillardia, coreopsis. What else did I do? Some Utah veg, a couple other things. I need to make a list and put on our website. But
So earlier in the show, you mentioned that a lot of education is needed when people
yeah,
are buying plants. And in specific to, you were mentioning trying to buy maybe peppers and tomatoes in April, right?
mhm.
What are some of the things that you wish more Utah gardeners knew?
I wish they would take more initiative on weather patterns. Even like making notes for themselves. So we have customers, I love them. They're why we're here. And they'll say, like, I had this failure last year. It's like, okay, well, make note that you shouldn't be planting tomatoes willy-nilly in April unless you're, wanting to put in the effort to cover them and uncover. Because some people do a 50% where they cover them, but they forget to uncover them in the day. So they have like a mini greenhouse and they end up frying their plants or so. So yeah, we try to capture all of our customers with signage. But one of the great things about Lambert's is how unique our customer base is because of where we are
Hmm.
and the way that we grow things by seed. We can do a wide variety. So hopefully people will learn after the first year to do that or make notes or we encourage people to take pictures. Like your plant died. What did it look like? We're trying to get better asking questions instead of assuming. So, and I don't know if it's unique to us. I feel like maybe every place is like that, where a customer just knows that a plant's dead, but we don't know how they got there or like what the watering was or what their soil looks like. Or so some people have gotten really great and started taking pictures or they'll send us photos. And we can't always answer it, but part of the education is we try to utilize like the extension office, if you know what that is, or if you've talked about that on the show. So we love to push extension information because it is factual.
Yes.
They're just so great. And they've got the diagnostics desk. They've got so much literature. And they've got so much information that you can literally just type brown spots, tomato, usu.edu into your search bar. Like I
Yep.
love them. Or if
I
you
do
even just
too.
type in, .edu,
Yep.
it'll pull up so much good stuff. So yeah, we try to use factual stuff as much as possible.
That is
Yeah.
honestly my Google search. It's like whatever it is that's ailing my yard, like morning glory at the moment. It's like
Uh-huh.
typing in bindweed USU because it's like that's what I want to know is what they say about it, right? And
Yep.
it really is a very good source of truth for sure.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And I've signed up personally for like, I don't even know if it's like a weekly publication, but it's like what's going on in gardens right now. And it's
Oh,
totally
yes.
escaping me.
Oh,
So yeah,
it's not the pest control advisory, which I also get. I know what
yeah,
you're talking about. Why it's escaping me too.
I don't know, maybe you could link it later. But yeah, the
I
pest one
will.
is amazing as well. And I love to see because I know that like I'm also dealing with that. So if they're posting it and I'm dealing with it, then you are too. And it's just so nice to be able to send people there. Because we
Yes.
definitely, as much as we love to sit and chat, sometimes we're just so busy we don't have the wherewithal to sit and chat with everyone. That's probably one of the hardest things of like the season is time.
Absolutely. It would probably be really hard if a customer comes back and says, "My plants died. What's wrong?" And it's like, there's a million different reasons why that could be. Did you water
Mhm.
them? Did you stick them directly in the sun the moment that you got home? A
Mhm.
windstorm? Are
Mhm.
they in clay soil with no mulch or compost? And I mean, it's just the
Mhm.
list goes on and on.
Yeah. So yeah, we try to help them narrow it down. And then the end of the, conversation, it's usually like, what? I don't know. You
Yeah,
know, I just don't know. It's not my garden.
exactly.
Yeah. So
Exactly. Do you feel like, so as far as hardening off goes, and for listeners that may not know, hardening off is basically gradually introducing your plants to sunlight and wind, etc., after being
yeah.
in like a cozy, beautiful, humid
Mhm.
greenhouse. With specific to Lamberts, do you feel
Yeah.
like the product needs to get hardened off?
I would always recommend it. And do I do it personally all the time? No. Do my plants get stunted? Yes.
Ah, okay.
um, I'm usually very busy. I don't have time to harden stuff up necessarily. So I live on the edge, but I would recommend it for going into spring, like with the cold weather, as well as like if you're planting in hot weather, like they are going to struggle too. So anytime you get the chance to harden stuff off, basically helping your plants put on this like armor. Because yeah, I forget who said it, but they basically explained plants coming out of the greenhouse is like soft tissue. And I was like, well, that makes a lot of sense because like as much as we try to get ventilation, like they're not getting the stimulation, like wind or being blown over with like a like hose water or whatever. So yeah, they definitely need that before you just stick them out to survive. So I would recommend it. It's
Yeah,
just good.
good to know. I think back and it's like I probably half the time I do. It kind of depends on what it is and where it's going too. Like
Sure. Yeah.
if it's coleus and it's going in the shade, it's going in the ground right away, you know.
Good point. Yeah. No, yeah, you're totally right.
But a
Oh yeah.
tomato, I'm gonna baby it for a hot minute. Give it morning sun first, and just
Mhm.
slowly, slowly. But
Yeah. No, that's a good point. Yeah, I guess you wouldn't really need it for everything. Everything.
I had a friend who kept saying, "I never can grow anything in this one spot. It's the soil. I know it. It's this." And she kept replanting and replanting in this one particular spot. And she's like there's got to be a reason that's more than what you know. You have to be more observant. And anyway, it turned out that she didn't realize one of her sprinklers was just off track. And she never sees her sprinklers go off because it's in the middle of the night and there wasn't any spot checking. She realized that one of the sprinkler heads was just spraying that spot incessantly for the whole time that the
Oh,
sprinkling system was going. And then that was the mystery solved.
that's so funny.
I know it's wild the amount of different things that can happen. Okay, so we talked education a little bit. Let's talk about myths. What is a common gardening myth or mistake that you see all the time?
So the myths, and along with the education, when people talk about using eggshells for blossom end rot, is my fave. And I'm gonna throw in using marigolds, but I will explain because have you guys already talked about the eggshells myth?
Last week, even, yeah, with Sheridan Hansen from USU. Yeah, but I would
Okay.
love your take too, because this cannot be reiterated enough.
Oh, just the old wives' tale of it all, you
Yeah.
know? But I'm pretty sure it's like cultural, right? Like over underwatering. And yeah, so the eggshells aren't they don't have any available calcium for your plant. So you're just looking like a weirdo for no reason. Um,
Exactly.
But then, so the marigolds, so I don't think that they actually do anything for flying plants or aphids. I think, so I had to read up on this. I'm pretty sure that they emit something underground to help keep away nematodes. So like soil-borne buggies, but I don't think they do anything for aphids or anything else. So that one's been kind of an interesting one. But like, they bring in pollinators, sure. So like, they're not going to stop people from buying marigolds, but I am going to be like, if you have aphids, like do something else, bro, because this is not it. So,
That's
but I
right.
had one customer joke and they said, "Oh, I'm in to buy my sacrificial marigolds." And I'm like, you know what? That's great. At least you know. Like, that's great.
Yeah.
So anyway, so those are the myths. And then what was the other part of them?
Oh, just gardening myth or mistake that you see all the time.
Just feel like people want it to be right the first time. And I just want people to be a little more chill about gardening. So I feel like a mistake is that they need it to be a certain way the first time around. So, like, especially if you're new or even like seasoned gardeners, it's like you're not going to have perfect tomatoes every year. So just be calm about it. Like do your best, but don't stress.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
What is one underrated plant or overrated plant that you would like people to know about?
Underrated. I don't even know. I love zinnias so much. So I'm going to say those are underrated. They're just so lovely. And overrated, probably anything that the box stores sell, like blueberries. Like, why are we doing this?
Mic drop. Right?
Like, get out of here with that.
Honestly, just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Mhm. Yeah. So I gently steer people away, but people are going to be fun. When the price point's right, it's like, okay, why not? But you're wasting money.
Okay, so here's the last question I always ask everybody. What is one thing that brings you joy in the garden?
Just that culmination of the whole season, like the end of July when everything is just going full, but just like spending time in the garden, watching, pollinators on blooms,
Ugh.
just watching fruit grow that maybe you haven't tried. Like we're growing a couple Asian varieties for seed that we've never grown before in our personal garden. And it's just fun watching the differences. Like, all binding crops are different and it's fun to see that. So we're doing bitter melon. Have you seen that on our benches?
Oh, yes.
It kind of looks like a really cool, kind of chunky cucumber. And it
Yes.
is truly bitter to the taste and said to help lower cholesterol and
Oh,
like help your blood pressure. But we're
well, I
growing it
need
for
both.
seed. I know. Come over. So it's just fun seeing things develop. And so, yeah, overall, it's just that culmination of all your work because that's what growing is. It takes so long. So good and the bad mixed together. It's just fun to watch your hard work at the end, I think. So,
I love that. I don't think anybody's said that yet. The culmination of your work, and that's so true.
mm,
It's so rewarding.
it really is. And it's like probably the more peaceful time of my day as well. It's just like watering and washing. So,
Yeah. Does
yeah.
so like my husband's a chiropractor, for example, and when he would come home, the last thing he wanted to do was one more adjustment, right? Do you feel the same working in the garden industry?
No, no. It's like always
That's
so
amazing.
rewarding.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we don't always have time to get it in. Like when people when we see that weather window, this would be great.
Yeah.
But the fact that we have like our garden set up for gardening, like we've done the really hard work and now it's mostly like kind of plug and play. So like put down some fresh compost, rotate our rows. Like where did we put the tomatoes last year? And just go for it. And it's always so fun to see the progress. And my goal is always when I can't see the sidewalk from our front door because our garden's in the front of our house. And it's just nice to have like this kind of secret garden behind the fence line. So
Ooh, I love
yeah,
that.
it doesn't really get old. I think, yeah, we just have to squeeze it in when we can. So
Yeah.
yeah.
What's your favorite? I know I told you last question a couple questions ago.
Oh,
But what's your favorite tomato variety?
Girl, that's my least favorite question.
I know. It's like, which is my favorite animal or child?
Yeah, how do you even? People ask me that, and I literally say, "Get out of my face." Uh, how dare you? There's so many.
I
Like
know.
this last year, it was like that Zapotec, that like ribbed one from Mexico. It was the speckled Roman, which was like the prettiest paste tomato. They're just, and it'll be different this year, I'm sure.
I got that one from you last year. I freaking loved it.
They're just
Speckled
perfect.
Roman. It was so fun to watch that grow.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I think it's impossible to have a favorite. We always stick in some sun sugars and
Mm-hmm.
then and then whatever else is like kind of left over sometimes, and it's always great. So
Yeah,
yeah. But that's an impossible
it
question.
really is. It really is. Okay, well, let me rephrase it. What varieties of tomatoes are you growing this year?
Oh shoot. So, okay, so something we added just to kind of keep our varieties fun and exciting, as well as keeping staples, was with the tomatoes, we are doing what we call specialty tomatoes. So we just picked, well, this last year we went crazy and did like 20, but we should have only done about 10. But we just grow small amounts of a lot of different things and put them into like our little single cups so that you can come in and get the celebrity and the aromas, but then you can also go and find something you've never seen before. And that's been really fun. And so we picked a couple just classic hybrids so we could get the quantity
Yeah.
and the tomato of it all. And then um, a couple of the specialties. So I'm sure we did some more speckled Romans. And I don't know if you ever picked up the carbons. There are these, they're
No.
like almost wanting to be like a large black crib, but prolific and huge and juicy. So that's
Oh.
been really fun. So I actually don't remember what we planted, but I'm sure it's a mix of all of those. So
Oh, that's awesome. That's too fun. Okay. Is there anything else that you want the Utah Gardener listener to know about Lambert?
well, thanks for everybody that already shops here.
Heck
So
yeah.
it's funny because we'll pay for advertising in some different channels. And now that I've come into this ownership, it's like more important for me to know like where our money's going. And so when I hear
Yes.
people say, "Oh, this is my first time in," my next question immediately is, "How did you hear about us?" And it is
Yeah.
always word of mouth. It is never from anywhere else that we advertise. It's always word of mouth.
Yeah.
And but it's just like the highest compliment. Like the fact that someone would want to send their loved ones here is like, oh, thank you. So, so anyways, we're grateful for that.
Yes.
And I would always say, like, if there's something that you're interested in wanting to see, there's we can't always grow everything, but you're more than welcome to reach out. Like we have people reach out with like really cool stories about why we should grow something. Like maybe not from this country. And it's just like really special that people are like, I want this here, and I think my family would want this here. Like, so reach out. You can always email us or send us suggestions, and we'll see if we can squeeze stuff in, or maybe boot out something boring and bring in something new. So you never know.
That's such a good. Okay, I have ideas for you when we're done recording. I have like four off the top of
Please,
my. I'm telling
okay, please.
Kim, this was so fun to have you on the show.
It was so fun. I'm
We
so
could,
glad.
I know, we could talk garden and shop all day long. I know it. Well, listeners, Lambert Growers opens for the fall August 15th.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a Friday. I don't have a calendar in front of my face, but yeah, the 15th I know for sure. And then we'll be open for about 4 weeks.
Okay.
The garlic usually comes in the middle just because the life cycle of it. So they're
Yes.
drying garlic now and they'll ship it to usually the beginning of September.
Yep.
So yeah, and save space for some cover cropping. We didn't talk about that, but that's something we're trying to educate people on is, not leaving any bare space in the garden over
Right.
winter.
That's right.
So cover cropping. So keep that in mind or do your own, go Google it. So yeah, we'll have some fun things this fall and hopefully come and score some good deals on some perennials.
39th South Redwood Road, correct?
Yeah, 3910 technically.
All right. Thanks again, Kim.
Thanks, Jana.
Again, huge thanks to Kim Clark from Lambert Growers for joining me on this episode 90 of Gardening Utah, for sharing the history and the heart and the future of one of Salt Lake's most beloved nurseries. Now, if you want to support the show, as I mentioned at the beginning, the best way is to follow or subscribe wherever you're currently listening. But also, if you could leave a quick review and share this episode with a fellow gardener, it will help us grow so that we can help you grow. And don't forget, you can always find me on Instagram. I'm at Gardening Utah for behind the scenes garden updates at my own house and more. And you can always shoot me a DM and tell me what you think about the show, who you'd like to hear on the show, and any other ideas you have would be super, super fun. Well, we'll see you next time on Gardening Utah. And in the meantime, remember, keep gardening, keep learning, and as always, grow big or go home.